Welcome to Jason's Jewels, the best sports show that you've never heard of. I am your host, Jason Alexander, and today we will recap this past week's action in sports, including the men's and women's NCAA tournaments, JuJu Watkins news, some LeBron James movements, as well as some NBA news. The MLB is back, a quick NASCAR update, and a couple of rants thrown in for good measure. Now, to begin the show, we will get started discussing these god-awful start times and days for NCAA sporting events. For years, the NCAA has gotten it wrong on what days these games should be played and what time they should start. For example, the college football championship game didn't kick off until sometime after 8 p.m. on a Monday night, and it ended close to midnight early Tuesday morning. This past Thursday, Sweet 16 games didn't start until after 7 p.m., with the late game starting after 10 p.m. Do they not realize we have to go to work and to school the next day? This is getting ridiculous. And it absolutely does not have to be this way. Maybe it's because I'm an old head who loves his sports and wants to be in bed at a reasonable time after the game and the emotions of the game have worn off. I'm on these streets at 6 a.m. in the morning every day. So I see all these cars headed into work, just like myself. Why can't they actually kick off the national championship games at 7 p.m. if it has to be on a Monday night? Why do we need an hour worth of coverage before the games that start at 7? We don't need that. Just show us the damn game. And why is it on a Monday anyway? What are we doing? College football is built for Saturdays. So naturally, the championship game should be on a Saturday. I get why the college basketball championship game is on a Monday. I understand that. You got the Final Four on Saturday, play the championship on Monday. At the same time, start the game at 7. The championship game should start at 7, not 8:47. For the love of God, have some sense. I was always taught that in business, the customer is always right. So NCAA, pay attention. We are the customer, and we want reasonable days and reasonable start times for these championships events. It's not that hard. Speaking of the NCAA and the transfer portal, it opened up this week, and folks are losing their ever-loving minds at the number of adults who have entered the portal to change their situation for the better. I keep seeing folks say that college sports is going to be ruined. They should only get one transfer while they're in college, blah, blah. Everybody got something to say about the transfer portal. Why do y'all want these adults to be your slaves for your entertainment? If you told me I could transfer from my current job to another job and get the same salary or more, get the same benefits or better, and my seniority still means something, shit, I'd be gone without blinking. But I'm not in the entertainment field, so it's okay. But I can transfer as much as I want to. But these adults in the entertainment field, college basketball, college sports, no. You need to stay in a bad situation so we can be entertained. And I get it. The number is alarming. I think they had 700 people enter the portal on the first day. I get it. It's an alarming number. But the grass ain't always greener on the other side. And as long as we're in America, these folks should have the ability to switch jobs if they want to. I see people getting caught up in all this fake loyalty, but they never say anything about the coaches whose transfer portal is open 24/7. If you're going to be mad about the players transferring, then you need to keep that same energy for the coaches that are constantly leaving for more money, or they're acting like they're going to leave so they can get a contract extension. And Hurley, if you're going to be mad at the players, be mad at the coaches also. They are just as guilty, and they're the ones who started all this anyway. But anyway, let me calm down. Let's get back to actual sports that's happening on the field. It is Saturday, March 29, 2025. Men's Elite Eight begins today. And as you can see, I'm ready for some action. Duke takes on Alabama tonight at around 8:49 p.m., which is actually okay on a Saturday night. And Florida takes on Texas Tech at 6:09, as the first two spots in the men's Final Four will be determined today. On Sunday, Tennessee takes on Houston at 2:20 p.m., and Auburn and Michigan State will follow it around 5:05 p.m. to determine the last two spots in the men's Final Four. Now, 3 of these matchups will be the 1 seed versus the 2 seed, and the other matchup is actually the 1 seed versus the 3 seed. So as you can see, Chalk dominated this year. And personally, I'm real good with that because I don't want to see some rando mid-major in there causing problems. You know, people have been talking about this tournament not being as exciting because of the lack of a Cinderella team. And that's a bunch of garbage. Folks just want to complain about everything. We literally have 8 of the best teams in the country facing off against each other in the Elite Eight. All 8 teams, at one point or another, have either been ranked number 1 or flirted with being ranked number 1. Are you not entertained? We get these high quality matchups in the Elite Eight and folks are crying? Make it make sense. We can legit have a situation where all 4 number 1 seeds make it to the Final Four for the second time ever in the history of the tournament, and people are complaining. If anything, makes me more excited to watch college basketball because remember, I'm a college basketball casual. I want to see the best of the best in all sports, including college sports. And if you're going to give me 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four, again, that is the best of the best. I don't want to see some rando in the championship game. I want to see a game-winning buzzer beater between 2 blue bloods in a championship game. And that just may be me, but that's what I want. So on that note, I'm going to predict all 4 1 seeds make it to the Final Four this year. Duke, Auburn, Florida, Houston. Watch history take place as these 1 seeds make the Final Four and give us a Final Four for the ages. Because honestly, you put all 4 of them teams in there, I don't know who's going to win. I have no idea at all. And all I know is I want to see some good entertaining college basketball. Chances are that's what we're going to get. And as a result, you ain't going to hear no complaints from me. Now, moving on to the women. We saw JuJu Watkins have a week to be forgotten as we first saw her and Jaden Daniels. I ain't going to say they were booed up, but they were enjoying some women's college basketball games at the women's tournament until his mama popped up on the scene and started baller blocking that man. Now, I get it. I promise I get it. She wants to protect her cub, and I get it. But JuJu's family. JuJu is family. We all love JuJu. And neither JuJu or Jaden did anything to deserve that kind of embarrassment on a national stage. Now, I'm not about to give out any parental advice or anything of that nature, but that whole scenario was disappointing, and I felt bad for Jaden and JuJu. They didn't deserve to be treated like middle school kids at their first middle school dance. You know, she sat right in the middle of them. Let me separate you two. What's the meaning of all that? It's just unnecessary. But that's neither here nor there. Speaking of JuJu, she tore her ACL the following day, and the whole nation mourned as it felt like we were watching a family member get hurt on the big stage. Now, we all hope JuJu gets well soon. JuJu, I hope you have a quick recovery. Hope you can get back on the court as soon as possible because JuJu is very enjoyable to watch, and she has a very, very strong future ahead of her. Women's Sweet 16 continues today, as number 1 seed USC will take on Kansas State. Number 2 seed UConn will take on Oklahoma, which is a 3 seed. 1 seed Texas takes on 5 seed Tennessee. And 2 seeded TCU takes on Haley Von Lee. Well, Haley Von Lith is on TCU, but they take on Notre Dame, who's a 3 seed, with Olivia Miles. Now, Olivia Miles suffered a really bad sprained left ankle last week against Stephen F. Austin. And according to Tom Noe of the South Bend Tribune, she says that ankle is at about 75% heading into this rematch with TCU. Now, speculation is that she's headed to the WNBA draft this season, and she projects to be a top 5 pick. So I wouldn't be surprised if she goes. At the same time, this Notre Dame TCU game has potential to be the game of the day, as both teams look to advance to the Elite Eight. South Carolina and UCLA both enjoyed Sweet 16 victories yesterday, and the Duke Blue Devils, the Lady Devils, they defeated their arch nemesis, North Carolina, and LSU emerged victorious over North Carolina State. So on Sunday, Duke is going to take on South Carolina. LSU takes on UCLA, as those teams will battle it out for a spot in the Final Four. I feel like South Carolina and UCLA will likely emerge victorious from those 2 games. Either way, the women's tournament is shaping up to have a fantastic finish, as it feels like any of these teams can win it all. We shall see what happens. Now, on to the NBA and what I call the dog days of the season. Teams are jockeying for playoff position. They're resting players for the playoffs, or they're tanking for draft position. There is no in between. You're going to get one of them 3. So there will be no true action in the NBA until the playoffs begin around April 20th. Now, the Bucks got some bad news as Damian Lillard has suffered the same blood clot situation that Victor Wembanyama has, and he's now out for the season as well, and with the recovery time of at least 3 months. Hopefully, Victor and Damian can both return next season healthy with no worries. At the same time, the Bucks are officially done now. The Houston Rockets, They've won 10 of their last 11, and they're in a down to the wire battle for the 2 seed with the Denver Nuggets. Be interesting to see how that plays out, especially with Jokic back from his injury and the Nuggets playing some good basketball like they normally do. Memphis, the Grizzlies are battling for the 5 seed, and for whatever reason, they decided that firing their coach right before the playoffs is the right move to make. Now, I understand that Memphis really doesn't have a chance to win the world championship in the NWA. I understand that. But firing your coach right before the playoffs sends a message that y'all really know you don't have a chance. And chances are you're headed for a first round exit now. And if things end up like they are, you're going to be playing the Lakers. So it'll be cool to see the Lakers and the Grizzlies play out in the first round if that does indeed happen. At the same time, I don't get why they're firing their coach now. They could have waited until May 1st after the Lakers sweep them. But whatever. The Clippers, they're 8-2 in their last 10 games, and Kawhi Leonard is looking healthier than he has in quite some time. So it looks like that the plan that the Clippers had to rest Kawhi and make sure that he's healthy is actually working out pretty good because that man is looking real good right now. Phoenix and Philadelphia, they're in shambles. They're over. And it's a shame because they're so talented, but it's going to be interesting to see what these teams do in the offseason to improve their situation because Lord knows they need to do something. They need to do something. There's no reason and no excuse for both those teams to be as bad as they are. I know Joel Embiid is hurt like he always is, and that plays a large part in Philadelphia. But now you got Tyrese Maxey hurting all the time, and Paul George, he's hurting all the time. I don't know. That was just, they need to figure something out because the talent says they're better than what they should be. Maybe they need new training staff like New Orleans Pelicans need new training staff. I don't know. But something needs to be done. They're too good to be as hurt and as bad as they are. And Phoenix, they didn't even have the injuries all that bad this season, but you got Kevin Durant, Brad Beal, Devin Booker. Y'all should be better. Y'all shouldn't be under 500, and you shouldn't be battling to make it to the playing game, which you're probably not going to make anyway. Better yet, just call off the season, Phoenix, because it don't matter. Y'all got all that talent, and it ain't going to matter what you do. It ain't going to matter who you will play. It don't matter what you do in the playing game if you make it. It's not going to matter. You guys are done. So just go on and rest your players like everybody else is doing and get ready for the lottery because that's where you're headed. Now, on to LeBron. And LeBron had an interesting week this week by showing extreme pettiness by going on Pat McAfee's show and shitting all over Stephen A. Smith to the point to where Stephen A. Smith crashed out hard the very next day. Now, I'm not going to say much on their shenanigans other than saying that as a Leo, I truly respect LeBron's pettiness in this situation. And Stephen A. Smith, you need to keep Kobe Bryant's name out your mouth, period. There's no point for you to bring up Kobe Bryant's memorial that you said LeBron wasn't at when he was clearly at the memorial. There's no point in bringing that up, man. There's no point in doing that to his family. There's no point at all. So it would be nice to see Stephen A. Smith say, just take that L and move on because you took that L, period. And really, that's all I want to say about that. I'm Team LeBron here when it comes to LeBron and Stephen A. And that's it is what it is. But back to LeBron and his week. After he eviscerated Stephen A. on Pat McAfee's show, the Lakers played the Pacers that night in Indiana, and LeBron tipped in a Luka Doncic miss at the buzzer to give the Lakers a win over the Pacers. Now, that very next night, the Lakers went to Chicago and blew a 16-point lead against the Bulls, and LeBron had a very forgettable final 30 seconds of the game as first he gave up a three, then when he inbounded the ball on the very next play, he turned the ball over, which led to another three, which gave the Bulls their lead, one of their first leads of the game. Reeves got the lead back for the Lakers with a layup, and then Josh Giddey proceeded to hit a half-court shot at the buzzer to win the game for the Bulls. If that doesn't sum up the season for the Lakers, I don't know what will. I mean, you talk about a roller coaster ride, you're going up and down hills all year long. Lakers look good, then they didn't look good. They got Luka, then they got Mark Williams, then they didn't have Mark Williams. Then LeBron gets hurt. Then Luka's finally getting comfortable and the Lakers are winning. LeBron comes back. Lakers start losing. At least they still got the 4 seed. That's about all I can say. It's been a crazy year for the Lakers. It's been a crazy year as a Lakers fan. And while I know they're probably not going to win it all, I do still expect them to have a pretty decent playoff run. But, we'll see what happens. Anyway, before I head out today, I do want to quickly remind folks that the MLB is back and officially underway. Now, we are only on day number 3. So as time goes on, I'll be speaking more and more about the MLB and what's going on in the MLB. But it's a long season. And like I said, it's day number 3. And there really just ain't a whole lot to talk about in MLB right now because they just getting started. But again, if you love baseball, stick around, keep watching. I'll have plenty of updates on the MLB as time goes on in the future. Now, one thing I do have updates on will be NASCAR. And I do want to give a NASCAR update on the season because I will be discussing NASCAR on a weekly basis. And we are on race number 7 with NASCAR. Kyle Larson won last week in Homestead, aka Miami, and he used a late race pass on Alex Bowman to secure that victory. As far as the rest of the season in NASCAR, Christopher Bell has won 3 races, and he won those 3 races in a row. Josh Berry has also won, and William Byron has also found himself in victory lane as well. My favorite driver is Bubba Wallace, the great Bubba Wallace. And he's currently in 7th place in the standings, and he finished in 3rd in his most recent race in Miami last week. The NASCAR race NASCAR is going to be in Martinsville this week. And this week, Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson are the odds-on favorites to win. Now, Ryan Blaney has been phenomenal in Martinsville, and some say Kyle Larson is the best driver on the planet. Blaney hasn't had a good start to the season, but he has had a chance. Well, he does have a chance, I should say, to quickly turn things around because Martinsville is one of his better tracks. Martinsville is a short, flat track, which should make for some good fun racing, as there will likely be some short tempers on this short track, as the drivers will be unable to avoid close contact with one another. The beating and banging will undoubtedly cause chaos and hopefully a pass or two on the last lap to add to the excitement for us viewers. You know, between the Elite 8 basketball games and NASCAR racing on Sunday, I will be highly entertained all day long. So if you're somebody like me, you got basketball you're going to have basketball on one TV and the race on the other TV. So hopefully you can enjoy your weekend the same way I plan to enjoy my weekend, watching basketball, NASCAR, and of course a little bit of baseball as well. But before I go, I want to give my weekly shout outs for the week. My weekly shout outs for the week. How about that? First up is my guy, Ladarius Thomas. Hey, my guy's been a good inspiration and motivator for me to bring these videos out to you. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Aaron Warner and Deuce Jones, who have both played a large part in me doing what I'm doing right here for you guys. I just want to say I appreciate all 3 of y'all. Much love. Anyway, that's all I got for Jason's Jewels this week. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jason's Jewels, as I continue to bring out more content for each and every one of you. All I got to say is thank you all for your support. Peace. Let's go, Duke.